Hi, this is Mark from Wiki Design. In this video, I'm going to show you something that's a little more fun than my other videos, and that's how to add an interactive Easter egg to your Elementor websites. I got the idea to make this type of video because April Fool's was just a few days ago, and this is actually something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and that's put together a tutorial on how to add like a secret Easter egg type of code to a website. To pull this off, we need to add a little bit of JavaScript to the website, but I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to do everything. So the code that we're going to be using is called the Konami code. And if you aren't familiar, this is the code right here. And if you ever played Contra as a kid, or if you were playing video games in the 80s, it's one of the very first original codes to get extra lives. And that code you can see right here where my mouse is up, up, down, down, left, right, BA. So when you put that in Contra, I think it gave you, 10 extra lives or something like that. So it's a code that's always kind of stuck in your head. So a lot of people have actually used this code right here, and they add it to their websites as like, a secret code or on April Fool's, and you can have something pop up. So let me just put that code in here. So it's up, up, down, down, left, right, BA. So you can see what this code does is it just simply pops up this generic JavaScript thing that just says you found it. So that's not what I really want to do, but I do want to take this code and display something within inside Elementor. When you add this type of code right here to an Elementor website, the possibilities are really endless because you can show pop-ups, you can show all different types of sections, widgets, whatever it may be. So let me give you an example of what we're going to be pulling off in this tutorial. I'm going to be showing you two different ways to do this. This first example is how to display a section when you put in a secret code. So I'm going to type in the secret code, and that is wiki. So if I type in WICKY, you're going to see right here, I just have this cheesy section called Easter egg, and I have a few eggs that popped in, a little Lottie animation, and then I'm going to show you how I was able to add this as well. This is a little JavaScript button that will close down this section, because by default, when you do that, you can't really close it down. So if I click that, it goes away, and then the user can actually type it in again, and it will pop up. So that's example one. The second example of the tutorial is going to show you how to pull off that same functionality, but using the built-in Elementor Pro pop-up builder. So let me just type in the code again. So if I type in WICKY, you can see right here, it's going to display a pop-up instead of a section like we had in the first one. To follow this tutorial, you will need Elementor Pro, and we do have an affiliate link in the description below. If you purchase the Elementor Pro through our affiliate link, we get a small commission, and that helps support this channel. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the back end. Here we are on the back end of an Elementor page, and let me show you how everything is set up. I'm going to walk you through how I set everything up and how you can configure this on your own website. So as you can see right here, I have a few different sections. I have this first section, which is the hidden Easter egg section. Then the rest of the page is just kind of like a standard website with just these different sections. So the easiest way to pull this off, in my opinion, is to have a unique section that's going to be the Easter egg. That's going to be much easier to manage, because then you can easily show and hide that depending if they enter in the keywords, and then we can add that button. So what I recommend is adding the section wherever you think it's going to look good on the website. So in this case, I just had it at the top. Here's how that section is laid out. You can see right here, it's just a section. We have the one column. I just have a header. I have these little Easter eggs that are using, you can see right here, absolute positioning. We have a Lottie. And then this right here is this button that will close everything. Okay, so that's how I have that section laid out. Let's jump over into this HTML code right here. So this is actually the JavaScript code from this website, if you remember. I basically copied all of this, and all we need to do is change out one line of code right here to target that section. So if you go ahead and I'm going to have all of these codes in the link in the description below that goes to our website, and I'm going to have all this JavaScript code and CSS code. So what you can do is just copy this script right here, and what I recommend is adding an HTML widget to a different part of the website. You don't want to add that HTML widget within the section that's going to be hidden. So in this case, you don't want to add that HTML inside this Easter egg section right here. It's probably best to just go ahead and throw it somewhere else on the web page. So as you can see, I have it right here highlighted, and it's just above this little tag where it says our services. The user's not going to see anything. This is all just to make sure that you can inject it on the page in the correct position. So like I said, you just copy that code and you can paste it into here. And now I can walk you through what, some of these things are. So if you remember this right here, the very first thing is this is your pattern or your secret code. So what I have is WICKY. You can see they're all separated out by the single quotes. And as you can see from this example, they have it where they had an arrow up, up, down, down, left, right, and then letters B and A. So this is their secret code. Now, if you want to keep these arrows, you're going to have to make sure that you type it in just like this. So if you want the user to hit arrow up, let's say your code was just arrow up, up. You could just delete all of this right here, and that would be your secret code. Hopefully that makes sense. So like I said, I put mine as WICKY. So if you wanted to change this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could do that. But let's just go back to Wiki just so I can remember what the code is. So you could type in whatever code you want in here. There's really no limitations. It needs to just be letters, numbers, and then those arrow directions. So one thing to keep in mind is this is just going to be a fun little Easter egg thing for desktop. This isn't really going to work on tablet or mobile because there's no way to input that information to show it on mobile. So if you wanted that functionality, that's probably not going to work very well in this type of code. So if we just jump down to the rest of the code, this is pretty standard JavaScript stuff where it's basically just waiting to hear if these keys are entered in correctly. And like I said, you don't have to touch anything else in here. They kind of comment out what it is. But like I said, all you need to do at this point now is just edit one little thing down here and you'll be good to go. So this right here, if you see where it says get element by ID, it's called Easter egg. So that's a custom ID that I declared up here. So if you go back into the section where you know that your Easter egg is going to be, you're going to want to go underneath, you can see right here, section, under advanced, custom ID, I have an Easter egg. So whatever you type in here, you got to make sure that you put it in right here in between the double quotes correctly. And that's all you have to do to make it where it knows if you type in wiki, it's going to display Easter egg section. And by default, you're going to want to make sure that this is closed. So to do that, I found the easiest way is just a little bit of CSS code. So if you go into the section of the Easter egg under custom CSS, I just have this little bit of code right here. It's just called selector display none. So I guess you could pull this off with a free version of Elementor. What you would have to do is under advanced, give it a unique class, and then you could just say that class display none. But in Elementor Pro, they make it real easy, so I don't have to do that. You could just type in, like I said, selector display none. So by default, everything is off. And if I hit update and go back to that page, so if I type in WICKY, it will show up. And then I can add this close button right here, and it goes away. And here's the code for the close button. So you can see right here inside that section, I have another HTML tag underneath the little Lottie animation. I have just an HTML widget. So if you go underneath here, you could just copy and paste this code in here. You don't really have to change anything else besides just one or two little things, and you'll be good to go. The very first thing I recommend is go in here and update. Again, you're going to see this tag is just like the other one, get element by ID. You're going to want to make sure, in this case, I call it Easter egg. So just like in the other section, that's called CSS ID, Easter egg. And then under HTML, just change that out. And then I have this right here. Let me just show you so I can. The good thing is you can always just go into here if you need to show that section. Just temporarily just add like a slash. That's what I like to do. So you can, visually see what's going on. So right here, this is the button called Close Me. So you can Close Me Now. You could see it in real time what it looks like. So if you just go in here, you can just Close Me. And then I have it right here just wrapped around a div, centered. So whatever you have underneath your Elementor settings, this is how the buttons are going to get styled. Or if you know a little bit of CSS, you can always declare a class here and kind of edit the button. So it's a lot easier to just have it within an HTML tag rather than trying to use the default Elementor buttons. This just makes it a little bit easier, in my opinion, just to kind of have it all within here. And then just right down here is just a pretty simple way of displaying or hiding an element by the ID. So like I said, just change that out, change out the button name if you want, and you'll be good to go. And now we can go back to the front end of the page and type in WICKY. You can see right here everything pops up correctly. You can close that button down, WICKY. I like with this example that the user can redo it. So if they close it down by accident, they can always go back into it. Now, the good thing is, I noticed if you see these little animations, they're being triggered when the user is opening it up. So it's not like it's looping right now in the background. The way that this JavaScript code is written is it activates it once it shows. So let me type that in again, and you're going to see the fireworks start, and then these eggs come right in. Let me do that again, WICKY. So the fireworks started, eggs come right in. And if you want to pull off a cool little animation like that, let me shrink this down here. You could see that this section right here, let me display it so you can see it. If you want to have a little animation like that come in, I just have a simple egg SVG widget. You can go underneath advanced. They recently moved this to position. Just change it to absolute. I moved it right here, so it's in that location. And then to actually do the animation, you go under motion effects, and then entrance animation, I just have it bounce down. So you can do bounce right, bounce left, whatever looks good. I just kind of wanted to have bounce in down. So that looks good to me. So that's what I like about this, is it's being triggered when the user is actually starting the animation. Now we're going to jump into how we can do the same effect using a pop-up instead of having that whole section on the page. This is going to be a little bit easier, in my opinion, to manage and gives you a little more flexibility because it kind of like overrides everything on the page, and you can have the close button automatically. So it actually is going to require a little less code than the one we just showed. So to pull this off, the very first thing you need to do is go ahead and create your pop-up. So in this case, I already have one called Easter egg, and you can see right here, that's what this is right here. To keep this tutorial very simple, I just threw in a simple Lottie animation of fireworks. It's nothing crazy. And there's just a few small things you need to do to make sure that this works correctly. And the very first thing is, once you're happy with how your pop-up is going to look, you go underneath, or let's see, display conditions. And what you need to do is make sure you just target that one page. So under display conditions, I just have it a single page, and then the page is called Konami code. So what this is doing is it's going to make sure that that pop-up is just going to get displayed on that one page. You don't want to have this pop up on all of your entire website or anything like that. Just target the one page, and that's all you really have to do within these settings. You can see underneath triggers, I have nothing, advanced rules, nothing. So this is just injecting that pop-up onto that page. Then all we need to do is head back over into that page, and that section that we were dealing with in the first one, we're not going to touch that at all. That's just going to sit there hidden. So if you go underneath this HTML tag we covered in the first example, all we need to do is change out one line of code, and everything's going to work correctly. So if you look right here, and like I said, I'll have the updated code in the description below. We can delete this one right here and just paste in this. So this is a function to call a pop-up within Elementor settings. So this is all like Elementor code right here. And the only thing you need to change out is this ID number right here. So you can see this is a 20012. And to get that number, all you need to do is head over into your pop-up builder. So underneath templates, pop-up, this one's called Easter egg. And you can see right here where the shortcode is, that's your ID number for that pop-up. So once you grab that code, you just paste it into here, and you can see right here that matches 20012. That's all you have to do. I like this approach a little bit better because there's less code on the page that you have to kind of worry about and manually edit. You can keep this in a different interface and then just call it in whenever you need. So you can actually easily add this to other pages or anything along those lines. So this is the approach that I prefer. So if we go into that page now, and if I hit refresh, it's not going to pop up that yellow banner that we had before. It's going to do the pop-up. So if I type in WICKY, you can see right here, it does the pop-up I just declared. And what I like about this is the close button is already there, so you don't have to worry about coding that extra button. And it's just like the other one. If I type it in, it will show up again. And that's it for this Elementor tutorial. Let me know if this was helpful and you were able to add this to your website. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and hit that bell to receive notifications when I release new Elementor tutorials like this. Again, this is Mark from Wiki Design.